True crime often begins with a body, a weapon, or a motive. But sometimes all you get is an empty sky. This is the story of NorthWind Flight 601, a late-night cross-country route carrying 128 passengers, families heading home, a newlywed couple, a college debate team, people with lives, plans, and unfinished conversations. It took off at 10:16 p.m. It never checked in at 1:04 a.m., when it was supposed to begin descent. The last words anyone heard from the cockpit were calm, routine, and chilling in retrospect. Everything looks good on our end. Minutes later, Flight 601 vanished without distress calls, without debris, without a single radar track. Or so we were told. When investigators cross-checked the passenger list, one name stood out. Elias Greer, seat 22F. He bought his ticket in cash. No checked luggage. No digital footprint. And according to the landlord of his last known address, he left his apartment 3 months before the flight and never returned. Security footage at the gate showed Greer boarding late, glancing over his shoulder, clutching something under his jacket. The airline wouldn't confirm what it was, but a flight attendant who survived the boarding recall interview said he kept touching the emergency hatch by his seat, almost like he was counting something. 2 hours into the flight, air traffic control logged an unusual request. Control, we need a moment. We have activity in the service bay. The service bay is a crawlspace beneath the cabin floor. It's locked. It's monitored. Passengers cannot access it, but the flight crew reported hearing movement inside, metallic sounds, whispers, and then a loud thump, followed by a sudden shift in the plane's electrical system. Seconds later, Flight 601's signal flickered and disappeared for exactly 14 minutes. When the signal returned, the plane was 32 miles off course and cruising 4,000 feet lower. The cockpit offered no explanation. The co-pilot's breathing, however, was noticeably shaky. Weeks later, search teams recovered a section of the black box casing from ocean currents hundreds of miles off the projected flight path. It had teeth-like gouges in the aluminum. Experts insisted the damage could have come from impact, but one investigator off-record said the grooves were more consistent with someone trying to rip it open from the inside. Someone desperate. Inside the cracked casing was a fragment of the voice recording, only 8 seconds long. A strained whisper, a scuffle, footsteps, then the captain shouting, "How did you get out?" The recording ended with a scream, cut abruptly, as if someone forcibly yanked out the wiring. Months into the investigation, a leaked report surfaced from the independent analyst hired by the families. It described a discovery the official team had never disclosed publicly. Fingerprint clusters inside the avionics compartment. Clusters, meaning multiple people. And not one set of prints matched any passenger, crew member, or aviation mechanic. Worse, the prints were smudged in a pattern suggesting the individuals were moving upward, trying to push through the floor panels leading into the cabin, as if they were trapped beneath the passengers, as if they were already on the plane before takeoff. The most heartbreaking evidence didn't come from investigators. It came from a phone found in a fisherman's net, belonging to a mother traveling with her teenage daughter. The phone contained a final, never-sent video. The daughter filming herself, whispering, "Mom," they said, "someone's underneath. They're trying to pull up the floor. People are scared. The lights keep flickering. I hear banging." Her mother appears in the background, gripping her hand, trying to smile. Then, in the last second of footage, the camera tilts downward, toward the aisle floor. A thin line of light appears between two panels, and someone, pushes upward. The recording cuts. After a year, Flight 601 was officially classified as a catastrophic aviation failure. Unofficially, investigators privately admit the data points tell a different story. Unknown individuals on board before takeoff. Access to restricted compartments. Electrical and navigation tampering. 8 seconds of cockpit terror. Passengers reporting movement beneath the floor. Fingerprints belonging to no one in any database. So a theory emerged. One too strange, too disturbing, too unbelievable for the official report. That Flight 601 wasn't attacked from outside. It was compromised from within. Someone, or several someones, were already hidden inside the aircraft structure, waiting, planning, and whatever they were after. It wasn't money. It wasn't ransom. In fact, over a year later, not one of the unknown fingerprints has appeared in any global system. Criminal, governmental, or civilian. Whoever they were, they left no trace behind, except the silence. NorthWind Flight 601 took off into a quiet night, but it never landed. And the fragments we've recovered, the whispers, the scratches, the fingerprints, suggest that the passengers didn't just face a disaster. They faced someone's plan. A plan buried somewhere inside the dark spaces of an aircraft no one ever thinks about. A plan that vanished along with them. And until the ocean gives up the rest of its secrets, Flight 601 remains the crime no one can fully explain.